Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody, and I hope you're still staying safe out there. Still going through. Well, that word "unprecedented" keeps coming up for sure. It's definitely. I'm going to call it historical. And in these historical times, there's a lot of different things that we're looking for, different services, different ways to adapt to what is happening out there. Safety is certainly a big part of that. And we're talking here today with Sandra Shields, sorry, from Phillips Lifeline. How are you today, Sandra?
I'm great, thanks.
Yeah, I
I've
could
had worse
almost call you
introductions.
Sandra Phillips because you're just so passionate about Phillips Lifeline.
I am. I love this company. I do a lot of presentations to different groups, and I talk about the company all the time,
Yeah.
not just for what we provide, but the company itself.
These
Yeah.
are, well, you heard me saying pretty crazy times, unprecedented, historical. There's a lot of names we could put to it. Safety is certainly something that's at the forefront of everyone. And there's so many different unique positions that people are in out there.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about what Phillips Lifeline can do to help those people. But let's go back a little bit. And can you give us maybe a little bit of history on the company?
Yes. Well, most people, they've heard the name Lifeline. The Lifeline's been around for almost 45 years now. But there's been a lot of new innovations. We are now
Okay.
part of the Philips umbrella. So most people know Philips, shavers, toothbrushes, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So same
So
company.
same company. We are now a healthcare company, and as a healthcare company, we're partnered with Health Canada. Health Canada has come into our response center and reviewed our response center. And we also are coming out with new innovations, a lot more new innovations now in the last, I'd say, I've been with the company 5 years. I'd say in the last 4 to 5 years, there's been a lot of new
Okay.
developments. Yeah.
I'm guessing that's due to technology and smart devices.
It's partly that, but now we've got Philips behind us as well. We've got all these brains happening and doctors and scientists working for us and looking down, the path and saying, okay, what do we need? What do we think is going to happen? What's going on? What new technology can we provide? And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Well, I've been reading a lot about the company since we were introduced to each other, and there's so many positive things out there that are being said about Phillips Lifeline. Obviously, in I guess what we would call normal times, if we're ever going to see that normal again, I don't know. That's another show. But into the new normal or existing normal, I guess you could call it. There's a lot of people that would need some kind of services at Phillips Lifeline. I'm looking behind you there. I see home hazards and sensory, low blood pressure, and all these things that probably most of us take for granted every day. We don't really think about it unless it's affecting us directly. What explain that all that behind you there and what Phillips Lifeline has to do with that?
Well, these are what I call my tower of risk blocks. So when I do a presentation to let's say an adult day group, I've worked with Leo and certain organizations in town, and
Okay.
they're adult day programs, and I'll be the entertainment. And I'll come in and I use these blocks as a visual. A lot of people are visual, and
Mhm.
once I start stacking I start speaking about them. So the first one is balance problems, and I start off with balance problems that, and if you don't have proper balance, it could lead to mobility issues. You've got to take
Yeah.
meds for the pain from those mobility issues, which interacts with other medications you're taking. So all these start to stack up on one another. And what happens as I start to stack them, the tower starts to move. As you can
Mm,
expect, as you're building it, it starts to shake a
right.
little. And so that's my analogy for your body. As you start adding these, think of your body that way. If you've got multiple medications, do you have some home hazards? Are you losing sensation in your feet due to a diabetic situation? So that's what those blocks, in a very quick nutshell, are about.
Right. So I think that the first thought that comes to mind when I think of maybe a demographic that Phillips Lifeline would be reaching out to would be
Mhm.
the elderly or seniors. which makes obvious sense because as we get older, things stop working all the time or as good as they used to, right? But is that the only person that's this affecting?
No, no. And I can't tell you how many times I get that comment. I'm not old enough for one of those yet, for one of
Right.
those button things yet. And it's not an age thing. Is it, are you at risk?
Yeah.
And so what does that mean? Does it mean that you live alone? Does it mean you have MS or Parkinson's, or maybe you are getting older? There are so many different situations that we can provide for safety for in the home. Um, I have a couple of stories that come to immediate mind. And so I do often get from people that I'm not old enough. I did a presentation to a group out in Grand Bend, and this was my third presentation to them. There's a volunteer there who is late 80s. A volunteer. She's not an attendee. She's a volunteer. She serves the food. And so on my third go round, I was doing this presentation, and she put her hand up and she said, "I need to tell you a story." She said, "I hear from this group that I'm part of a couple. I live with somebody, so I don't really need one of those yet."
Uh,
She said, her and her husband live in a house, very independent, very active, doing their own thing. And she was up in the second floor in her sewing room doing sewing. She had an incident happen. Husband was downstairs in the workshop, couldn't hear, yell for help. And she said, "I remembered you talking about what you have to offer," and they both are wearing a button now.
yeah. It's that thing that we take advantage of the fact that well, I'm still with somebody, or I'm not old enough, or I would imagine there's some. I'm thinking of my parents right now, who I still both have, but they're you know, being cared for in a nursing home, right, or residence, and so I don't overly worry because I think that's there. But if one of them was independently living on their own, even if they were fairly healthy and mobile, just a simple zigged when I should have zagged and down we go, or something like that.
Yeah.
What about people who are independently living on their own and are still going out for a walk and enjoying, what they can, and wouldn't really be considered, I guess, high risk? Is there still a need for
Oh,
Phillips
yeah.
Lifeline in that situation?
Absolutely. Most people know us. You press a button and it comes into our response center. And by the way, they are our own employees. There's a lot of training that go into the background of our response center.
Right.
But you're right. So let's say it's somebody's at risk. Let's say they might have Parkinson's or something, but they
All
still
right.
want to go out and do their thing. They still want to go out for walks. They want to go under the bridge for fries. They want to go swimming in the lake for exercise, but they're at risk. So they can we have a button called Go Safe, where they
Mhm.
can be confident. It's about providing that confidence going out and doing your thing,
Yeah.
and knowing you can get help right away. So this button is called Go Safe, which means you can go safely anywhere in Canada.
Wow.
It's got 6 locator technologies on it. So it's not, people often say, "Is that the one with GPS?" And I'll say, "Yeah, it is." But it's, we have 6 locators on it, 'cause GPS alone is not going
Not
to
enough.
accommodate all situations.
Right. Well, I think we've got a video here with a gentleman named Jim. I think I got it right. And
Okay.
it's a little demonstration on what we were talking about here. So folks, let's take a look at this. When we come back, if you've got any questions for Sandra, I see some of you have been sharing your comments. If you've got any questions or comments for Sandra, now's the time to get them from Sandra here at Phillips Lifeline. Take a look at this video. It's about a minute
Throw
and
'em
we'll
at
be right
me.
back. Right on.
People refer to Jim as a senior. He considers himself independent and active. Jim uses the Go Safe personal alert service in case of emergency. This fully mobile pendant goes everywhere with him. Jim is on his way to the grocery store. Walking through the park, he feels dizzy and disoriented and decides to sit down. The Phillips Lifeline pendant is designed to assist in locating him wherever he might need help. To determine Jim's exact location, most personal alert systems would rely only on GPS. Jim's GoSafe pendant, however, uses up to 5 additional location technologies. These technologies, like Wi-Fi and two-way voice communication, allow a Philips Lifeline response associate to assist in sending help to Jim as quickly as possible.
Innovation and you. Philips.
Wow. And in that voice conversation, two-way voice?
It's like wearing a little, you're talking right through the button. It's this button right here. I've got it right in front of me. This one right here.
Oh, wow. It's like talking through a microphone, and I've got a Lifeline on the other end.
Yes, and I was actually a tester for this button before it came out, and I've got friends that live on Lake Huron. They've got homes there, and they often tell me, well, I'm with such and such a company, and my internet is really bad. So I specifically went down to those locations. I went under the bridge. I went to the beach, pressed my button, and there you go.
Still worked out fine.
If you went out on your boat, if that was what you did every morning was to go out fishing, and you had an incident in your boat, you could press that button and we would find you. If your normal routine was to go for a swim in the lake every morning for exercise, this button is waterproof. All our buttons are waterproof, not water resistant. So it will handle a depth to about 1 meter or about 30 minutes. So if you run into trouble, even it's leg cramps, you're having trouble getting back to shore, whatever it is, just press your button.
Wow. And how far does this go? Is it just Canada?
Just Canada. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess there's a lot of value in this right there that you're sharing. I mean, what price do you put on safety and I guess peace of mind really comes to my thoughts when I'm hearing you talk about this. This has to be, I would guess, made affordable for people as well. It's fairly reasonably priced. Can you give us? Is there different plans, or is there just how does that work?
Yeah, there are different, of course, for different levels of service. The GoSafe has a lot of guts to it.
Okay.
We do have the 4th button we have, which I don't have a video on. It's just brand new. It's a wandering device, so it's for people who don't know that they need to be found. So there's all different price points for it. And there's no contract either to any of the services that we provide.
Oh.
So if you needed it, you're rehabbing from hip or knee surgery, and you just need something to be more confident to get going and get up out of the chair to make sure you're moving. We don't care as long as you're.
So I could just have it for a month or two while I'm healing from my surgery, and then when I'm back to what I would call normal,
because if you're not getting up, if you're not getting up from your chair and moving around, that's going to cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
If you have a fear, that's going to cause a lot of problems. So we want you to be confident, going about your day-to-day business and living your normal life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now you've been able to partnership up with the Blue Water Health Foundation, is it?
Blue Water Health Foundation. Yeah, that's one of our longest standing partnerships. It's 30 years old this year.
Oh, wow.
And we had intended on having a little party in the atrium. We will delay that little party.
You're not the only party being delayed.
I know. Yeah, we'll have cake and balloons and a bunch of other stuff. But that is our long-standing partnership with them.
All right. Yeah. And I see we've got a phone number here about Blue Water Health Philips Lifeline. Talk about what this is and what is the partnership and what are the details involved with that?
Well, we have over 350 partnerships Canada-wide with healthcare agencies and with hospitals, with Sunnybrook, with Blue Water Health, Chatham Kent, Windsor Regional, VON, Middlesex Elgin. There's a lot of partnerships across Canada. So Blue Water Health is one of our oldest partnerships, 30 years. And we do give back to that partnership. We do give a certain sharing I guess if you want to call it that, back into the foundation. So they can use the monies at their disposal for whatever they want to use them for.
Right. So this number, this comes to you, and is this like an information number, or?
Yeah. If people are just looking for more information, they can call. We'll have a conversation. They can ask any questions. There's so many questions that we get, different questions that we get.
Right.
You know, are you going to get angry if I press it too much? No, we don't care. As long as as long as you remember to wear it. Can I press it in 3 a.m? Yes, we want you to. So yes, that number is for more information. It's also if you're ready to go. It's to get it set up. We have our own installers that in normal times do go into the home and do set it up for people. Now, right now, we did have to stop that for a little while,
right?
Because people were uncomfortable for us coming in, and actually, Philips is protecting us, and they halted it for us.
Right.
But we
are still
doing,
okay for people to call you, and if they want to get things set up.
We are doing it over the phone. We are doing installs over the phone.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's great. And I see here it's kind of a special time, I guess, to say that no charge for installation right now.
Yep. I had this made up specifically for today. For anybody that's listening, that anyone that's interested, anyone that's been thinking about it, needed to know more information. And in this time too, I wanted to be able to help people get going.
Yeah.
And we do want to have a conversation with people. We do have compassionate pricing for people to help them out. So we do want to have conversations.
Great. Well, this has been great information, and I learned a lot more. I know. Yeah, I'm one of those guys who went, oh yeah, you press the button and they.
I haven't even got started, Dave.
Phone, right?
We need another hour show.
Well, if there's more, we've got some time left. Is there anything else that you want to share before I do let you go?
Not really. I think just some things to think about. You know, if an incident were to happen, if an incident were to happen tonight, how would you get help?
Mm-hmm.
How would that look? We want to put the stop sign up before the accident, not have the accident and then put the stop. We want to be proactive, not reactive. And
makes
I think
total sense.
Yeah, I just have to really, think of your situation. We're trying to avoid a long lay time for people, which is often where problems can start. It's not the actual fall, but how long you lay. So we want to, that's all we're made for. That's all we do, is to help people live safely, independently in their own homes. Yeah,
very good. Sandra, thank you so much for being here today and sharing this great information. We're broadcasting it all across several different Facebook pages and on YouTube. So hopefully we can get the word out and help people stay safe in their own home environment and however their daily routine, whatever that looks like, keep them protected. And especially these, well, they're crazy times is really what they are, right?
Yes, they are.
Thanks again, Sandra. Until next time, if you've got any questions, leave your comments on the Facebook page and we'll make sure that we forward those to Sandra as well. And one more time, there's a phone number on the screen that you can call to find out more information, and a special code just from today for free installation if you decide to go ahead with Philips Lifeline. That's all the time we've got for you now. It's been a special edition of Community Matters. Until next time, I'm David Burrows. Bye for now.